Hi, my name is Gareth Schreiner, and today I want to ask, what is it about dragons and swords and fantasy that could have anything at all to do with self-expression and social development? Well, today we're going to be discussing just how games like Dungeons and Dragons, other tabletop role-playing games, things of that nature, can have the capacity to have real, tangible, positive impact on individual persons as well as groups. And not only this, but there is real aesthetic value in this topic and in this discussion in regards to its relation to the art of storytelling. And regardless of what level of interest you may or may not have in this topic, there is real observational things to learn from considering how this topic could be valuable in any way or form. Now, some really interesting things to consider as we look into this, again, is to remember that their main focus is going to be the positive social impacts of games such as Dungeons and Dragons and its value aesthetically when it comes to its relation to our storytelling. Now, some real interesting statistical information to help give this some oomph is there was this very interesting study done back in 2011 that, again, gives us some more oomph in regards to how there is this great study done by this elementary school teacher wherein she took her class and applied different aspects of role-playing, Dungeons and Dragons, creatively to the curriculum to get her students more engaged, especially the ones who are struggling in areas such as mathematics, history, writing, so on and so forth. And she had real great results from this because the entirety of the class improved academically to the point where what she did was borrowed from other teachers, middle school teachers, I believe it was a chemistry teacher, and then also even a school in Texas, a high school, in fact, applied this, and each saw positive improvements academically with their students as well as socially. Another interesting point to consider here as an example is Maslow's hierarchy of needs in relation to love and belonging as well as self-esteem. With this, we can see why perhaps this kind of methodology would work, because it's giving people, particularly these students, an opportunity to feel part of a group, to feel listened to feel respected, and to learn how to work together to accomplish something. There's real meaning and importance to that for anyone to learn. Moving on, we can see more of how it relates to the art of storytelling. I really enjoyed writing before I ever got into D&D, and then a friend invited me. And what I really got to see and learn was different people's perspectives, people I would never have met beforehand without this kind of game. And what was cool was to see just how much thought was put into it. The DM had great storytelling ability, even just on the fly. And it was interesting to see his personality reflected in what he cared about and the way in which he told stories in this game, as well as seeing just how people's characters reflected certain aspects of them. There was an art form to it, and there was something deep about it. Now, when it comes to seeing even more ways to appreciate this, and again, relation to the art of storytelling, we can even look at something like shows and podcasts about the subject. There's things like Critical Role, Adventure Zone, I believe, which have real talented people, some of them are even actors, who portray this in this medium as a form of art. And there's a real reason for that, is that it's akin to anything else, such as a book, a show, movie, play even, wherein there is a story to be told, ideas to be shared, and a meaning to be gleaned when it comes to any kind of art. And there is an aesthetic value when it comes to something that can seem perhaps even childish when it comes to the idea of what Dungeons and Dragons is. Now, let's look further and apply these observations to how there's value in this topic of tabletop role-playing games. Now, there's a lot to apply here, but let's go over some more statistical data. There was a study done by this university in 2017 when it came to adults in relation to therapy being done through Dungeons and Dragons that showed positive improvements to their mental state and their ability to communicate their feelings So there was a decrease in depression and suicidal tendencies, again connecting to Maslow's law of hierarchy of needs, really, where people were having real human connection and learning how to share, how to participate, how to work together. And that's something that's very real. There was also this study done in 2015, it's 2015, that showed a strong connection. It was done on these students who were 18 to 24 years old of age at this college, wherein there was this correlation study to see if there was anything psychologically tangible for bad behavior and this game. They found no real tangible evidence that there was. It was great. Now, there's also some really beautiful ways that this kind of art form expresses itself. There's a great show called Dimension 20 that has wonderful diversity and inclusion, and it's able to communicate stories so wonderfully by covering a huge spectrum of people that normally, unfortunately, go ignored, such as the LGBTQ community, as well as anyone of people of color. Normally, those people get ignored in mediums such as this, but that show does a great idea to fight against that, and it does it so beautifully. It's really great. And then, again, I've had my own perspective challenged, and as a form of testimony, where it comes to tabletop role-playing games, where I've been able to learn more about people's perspectives and how to dialogue with them as a fellow human being over something that someone maybe says is just a game. There's more to it than that. There's real value to it. Now, as we draw to a close, again, I want to keep these things in mind, that there are tangible connections in terms of how you can improve and how you can learn about people socially. And there's also great aesthetic value in regards to these things. And whether or not you find yourself really interested in or even valuing games like Dungeons & Dragons, someone you may know perhaps does. And there's value in their heart and their mind towards it. And there's value in learning about why when it comes to how they feel about it.